up on that hoe.
Stop.
I never asked you to post my book because I need you to.
Say sorry to my baby mama, and I'm gonna post your book right now.
You don't ever ask me to respect no until she's your wife. If you didn't know. If you lost your mother, this said, I'll post your book when you apologize to my baby mama. First of all, is it your baby mama? Because you told us the last your baby, and now that the baby can't run, jump, hop, skip, or do shit, now that ain't your baby. I should have got drunk and while I was pregnant with you. Don't ever keep thinking that I need you, John.
The internet did not wake up peacefully today. It woke up to pure chaos, the kind that feels like a reality show just skipped straight to the reunion fight without warning. Because somehow, someway, Karlissa Saffold just went full blast on Blueface, and when I say blast, I mean she came with that I'm not holding back any more energy that had everybody frozen mid-scroll. This wasn't subtle, this wasn't quiet, this was loud, direct, and filled with emotion that instantly turned timelines into battlegrounds where everybody suddenly had an opinion. Because let's be real, this situation was already messy, but the moment Karlissa stepped in and started calling things out publicly, oh, it shifted everything. Now it's not just fans speculating, it's family drama going viral, it's accusations flying, and it's a demand for accountability that hit the internet like a shockwave. And the way she said it, not like a suggestion, more like you need to fix this right now, which only made people react even louder. Some were cheering her on like she finally said what needed to be said, while others were side-eyeing the whole situation like, this should not be happening online. And just when you think the internet would calm down for even a second, it does the exact opposite. People start digging, bringing up old clips, old arguments, and moments nobody was even thinking about before. Suddenly, everything from the past starts looking different, like it all led up to this exact explosion. Because now it's not just about one statement, it's about everything behind it, everything people think is going on, and everything that's being dragged into the spotlight whether it belongs there or not. And trust me, the deeper people looked, the messier it got, because what started as one call-out quickly turned into something way bigger than anyone expected. And the moment people started connecting the dots, to understand why this situation exploded the way it did, you have to go back to the beginning of all this tension, because none of this just appeared out of nowhere. The relationship between Karlissa Saffold and Blueface has always been loud, public, and unpredictable, like a storyline that never sticks to one direction for too long. From supportive moments to sudden disagreements, everything has played out in front of an audience that never stops watching. At first, it felt like normal celebrity chaos arguments here. Reactions there, nothing too shocking for the internet. But over time, people started noticing that this wasn't just random tension. It was building. Every new moment added another layer. Every reaction carried more weight. And every silence started feeling like something bigger was happening behind the scenes. Then came the situations that really started shifting the narrative. Conversations became sharper, reactions became more direct, and the tone changed from casual frustration to something that felt a lot more serious. Fans weren't just watching anymore, they were paying attention, analyzing every detail like they knew something was about to happen. And once the internet starts sensing a buildup, it doesn't just sit back, it starts connecting dots. Old clips resurfaced, past arguments got revisited, and suddenly everything looked different when viewed together. Moments that once seemed unrelated started feeling connected, like pieces of a puzzle people were trying to solve in real time. Some fans believed this was just family tension being exaggerated for views. Others felt like this was something deeper, something that had been brewing for a long time and finally reached a breaking point. And once those two sides formed, the debates became nonstop. Nobody agreed, but everybody had something to say. Meanwhile, every new post, every reaction, every small comment added fuel to the fire. Even the smallest detail could spark a whole new wave of discussion. And it became clear that this situation wasn't going to stay quiet. It had too much attention, too much history, and too many eyes watching every move. And then came the moment that changed everything. Karlissa didn't just react, she called him out publicly, directly, and with an energy that made it clear this wasn't just another passing moment. This felt like a breaking point, like everything that had been building finally came to the surface all at once. The internet reacted instantly. Some people supported her, saying she was standing on truth and demanding accountability. Others questioned whether this should have been handled privately instead of turning it into a public spectacle. But no matter which side people were on, one thing was clear: this moment hit differently. Because now, it wasn't just about past drama anymore. It was about what happens next. And when a situation reaches that level, where people are no longer focused on what happened but what's about to happen, that's when things get unpredictable. And just when it seemed like the tension had reached its peak, something else happened that pushed everything even further. And just when it felt like the situation couldn't possibly get louder, the internet said, "Watch this," and turned the volume all the way up. Because now, this wasn't just a moment, it became a full-on digital showdown where everybody had something to say, and nobody was staying neutral. The second Karlissa Saffold called out Blueface publicly, the timelines didn't just react, they exploded. On one side, people were backing Karlissa hard. They were saying she finally stood on business, finally said what needed to be said, and finally demanded accountability in a situation that had been messy for way too long. To them, this wasn't drama, it was truth being spoken out loud. No filter, no hesitation. And honestly, that energy spread fast. But on the other side, oh, they were not convinced. Some people felt like this crossed a line, saying family issues shouldn't be turned into public entertainment. Others questioned whether everything being said was fully accurate, or if emotions had taken over and pushed things further than they needed to go. And just like that, the internet split into two loud, clashing sides. Now the comment sections. Absolute chaos. It looked like a courtroom with no judge, where everybody was presenting their own version of what they believed happened. One comment would say she's right, the next would say this is too much. And then another would come in with a completely different take that somehow made the situation even more confusing. Then came the memes, and they were ruthless. People compared the situation to WWE matches where alliances break mid-fight, to Kardashian-level chaos where nothing stays private, and even to Marvel storylines where every character suddenly flips sides. And the wildest part, those jokes didn't calm things down, they made it spread even faster. Because once something becomes entertaining, it stops being just drama. It becomes content. Reaction videos started flooding every platform, influencers jumped in with breakdowns, and suddenly everybody had a microphone, an opinion, and a theory. Some were serious, some were sarcastic, and some were just clearly there for views. Meanwhile, fans started digging deeper into the past. Old clips resurfaced, previous arguments got reanalyzed, and moments that once seemed small were now being treated like major clues. And when you start looking at the past through a new lens, even the smallest detail can start to feel important. That's exactly what happened here. The narrative kept growing, expanding beyond just one statement and turning into a full storyline that included everything leading up to it. It wasn't just about what was said anymore, it was about what it meant, what caused it, and what might happen next. And then things took another turn. Because now people started bringing in other names, other situations, and other drama, connecting everything like it was all part of one big chaotic universe. And you already know how the internet works once multiple storylines collide. Things get messy fast. Some voices try to slow things down, pointing out that people were jumping to conclusions and turning emotional reactions into facts. But those voices, they got drowned out by the louder, more dramatic takes that kept the situation trending. Because let's be real, Drama always wins the algorithm. And as the chaos kept building, one thing became clear: this situation wasn't going to settle anytime soon. The more people talked about it, the bigger it got, and the more pressure started building around what would happen next, because now everyone was watching closely, waiting for a response, waiting for a reaction, waiting for something that would either confirm everything or completely flip the narrative again. But instead of answers, there was silence. And that silence, it didn't calm the internet, it made everything feel even louder. Because now, people weren't just reacting anymore. They were starting to decide for themselves what they believed really happened. And just like that, we hit the point where everything should have cooled down, where the noise should have faded and the internet should have moved on to the next viral mess. But instead, this situation just sat there, lingering, growing, and getting even heavier the longer it stayed unresolved. Because now it wasn't just about what Karlissa Saffold said anymore. It was about what it changed. The emotional fallout started hitting differently. Fans who were laughing at memes just days ago suddenly started looking at the situation more seriously, realizing this wasn't just entertainment, it was relationships breaking down in real time. And that shift, it made everything feel way more intense. Some supporters stood firmly behind Karlissa, saying she had every right to speak up and demand accountability. They saw her as someone stepping in, calling out what she believed was wrong, and refusing to stay silent in a situation that had already gone too far. To them, this wasn't messy. It was necessary. But the other side, they weren't backing down either. They questioned whether going public was the right move, arguing that once something like this hits the internet, it stops being controlled by the people involved and starts being shaped by everyone watching. And looking at how fast things spiraled, they might have had a point. Meanwhile, Blueface's silence became its own storyline. People watched closely, waiting for any reaction, any post, anything that could explain his side of the situation. But instead, there was nothing, and that nothing, it started speaking louder than any response could have. Because now the internet wasn't just reacting, it was interpreting. Every pause, every lack of comment, every missing response became something people tried to decode like it was part of a bigger message. And once that happens, the narrative stops being controlled by reality and starts being controlled by perception. That's when everything shifted again. Fans weren't just divided anymore, they were convinced. Some believed Karlissa was telling the truth and standing her ground. Others believed there was more to the story that nobody fully understood yet. And a third group, they were just waiting for the moment everything flips again. Because if there's one thing this entire saga has proven, it's that nothing stays still for long. And then came the realization that hit harder than everything else. This situation might not have a clean ending at all. No final statement, no clear resolution, no moment where everything gets explained and tied together. Just a story that feels paused mid-scene, leaving everyone with more questions than answers. And here's the twist that makes it even crazier. Sometimes the biggest impact doesn't come from what's confirmed, it comes from what people believe. And right now, belief is all over the place. Some are convinced this was a necessary call-out. Some are convinced it was taken too far. And some are just watching, knowing that the next update could completely change everything again. Because the moment something new drops, yeah, this entire situation could explode all over again. So now let's really talk about it. What did we just witness? Was this Karlissa finally saying enough and standing on business? Or was this a moment that got way too public, way too fast, and turned into something bigger than it should have been? Because right now, the internet is split. The opinions are loud, and nobody is staying neutral on this one. You've got one side saying she did exactly what needed to be done, call it out, demand accountability, and stop playing nice in a situation that's been messy for too long. Then you've got the other side like, this should have been handled behind closed doors, questioning whether taking it public only made everything worse. And honestly, both sides are coming in strong, so I need you to jump in. Do you think Karlissa was right for speaking out like that? Or do you feel like this whole situation just got out of control once it hit the internet? Because let's be real, this isn't just drama anymore, it's a full storyline. And everybody watching has a take. Drop your opinion in the comments, defend your side, or call out what you think is really going on, but don't sit there scrolling like you didn't just witness this level of chaos unfold. The comment section is about to turn into a full-on debate arena, and trust me, it's gonna get messy. And while you're here, go ahead and smash that like button like it owes you money, because if this situation taught us anything, it's that the drama never stays quiet for long. Subscribe if you want more unfiltered, no-chill breakdowns of the internet's wildest moments. Because you already know we're not missing a single twist. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next update, because the way this is going, yeah, this story is just waiting for its next explosion. And remember, in a world where one post can flip the entire narrative overnight, staying tapped in isn't just entertainment, it's survival. This is Celeb Sync, where the drama hits different and the chaos never disappoints.